After Moses died, some truly shocking things happened almost instantly. Before the Israelites could even think about crossing the Jordan River, a battle erupted in the heavens. The archangel Michael and Satan themselves fought over the body of Moses. When it was all over, God took Moses' body and hid it so perfectly that for 3,400 years, no one has ever found it. But what happened next would change the course of history. Within just a few days, God set 7 incredible events into motion, one right after the other. These were things that simply couldn't happen while Moses was still alive. It was as if a divine dam had broken. First, God spoke directly to Joshua. Think about that. For 40 years, God's primary voice on earth to the people was Moses. But now, with Moses gone, God established a new line of communication. He told Joshua, "Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore, arise, go over this Jordan, you and all this people, into the land that I am giving to them." This wasn't just a suggestion, it was a divine command, a passing of the torch. God personally commissioned Joshua, filling him with a spirit of wisdom and courage, assuring him of victory and promising his unwavering presence. This direct conversation was the first sign that a new era had begun. Second, empowered by this divine encounter, Joshua immediately took charge. He didn't hesitate. He commanded the officers of the people to prepare for a 3-day countdown. "Prepare your provisions," he said. "For within 3 days you are to cross this Jordan to go in to take possession of the land that the Lord your God is giving you." This wasn't a suggestion from a new, uncertain leader. It was a decisive, faith-filled command. The entire nation, 2 million strong, mobilized on his word. The era of wandering and waiting was officially over. The time for action had arrived. Third, during this 3-day countdown, Joshua sent 2 spies into the heavily fortified city of Jericho. This was a crucial intelligence mission. And there, they met a woman named Rahab. Her story is amazing. She wasn't an Israelite, but she had heard of the God of Israel and his mighty acts. She recognized his power and authority. Against all odds, and at great personal risk, she chose to side with God's people. She hid the spies and helped them escape, making a covenant that would save her and her entire family when the city fell. This single encounter inside enemy territory was a pivotal moment. The divine appointment that showcased God's plan extending even to those outside the nation of Israel. Fourth, and this is truly spectacular, the Jordan River parted. And it didn't just part on a calm, ordinary day. It happened at flood stage. The Bible tells us that Jordan overflows its banks all through the harvest season. It would have been a raging, impassable torrent. But as soon as the feet of the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant touched the water's edge, the water from upstream stood up in a heap. Far away, while the water downstream flowed off into the sea, an entire nation crossed over on dry ground. This was a miracle on the scale of the Red Sea crossing, a powerful demonstration to a new generation that the same God who was with Moses was now with Joshua. Fifth, once they crossed, God commanded Joshua to do something very specific. He had 12 men, one from each tribe, take a stone from the middle of the dry riverbed. They carried these 12 stones to their first campsite and set them up as a memorial. Why? So that in the future, when their children asked what these stones meant, they could tell the story. It was a tangible, permanent reminder of God's faithfulness and miraculous power. It was a way to pass their faith in history from one generation to the next, ensuring that God's incredible act would never be forgotten. Sixth, something that had been a daily reality for 40 years suddenly stopped. The manna ceased. For 4 decades, every single morning except the Sabbath, God had provided this miraculous bread from heaven to sustain his people in the wilderness. But on the day after they ate the produce of the promised land, the manna was gone. It never appeared again. This was a clear sign that the season of wandering and total dependence on daily miracles for food was over. They were now in the land of provision, a land flowing with milk and honey, where they would work the soil and eat the fruit of their own labor. A different kind of blessing from God. Finally, the seventh event is perhaps the most mysterious and awe-inspiring. As Joshua was near Jericho, planning his military strategy, he looked up and saw a man standing before him with a drawn sword in his hand. Joshua, the brave general, challenged him. "Are you for us or for our adversaries?" The man's reply was chilling. "No," he said, "but as commander of the army of the Lord, I have now come." Joshua immediately fell on his face in worship. This was no mere angel. This was a divine appearance, the very captain of heaven's armies, revealing that this battle was not Joshua's to fight alone. Heaven itself was engaged in this conflict. The victory was already secured by a higher power. So, let's recap these 7 incredible events that happened in rapid succession right after Moses died. God spoke directly to Joshua. Joshua commanded a 3-day countdown. Spies met Rahab in Jericho. The Jordan River parted at flood stage. 12 memorial stones were raised. The manna stopped after 40 years. And the commander of the Lord's army appeared with a drawn sword. Each of these events was a powerful signal. They were things that couldn't happen while Moses was alive. His leadership, while foundational, represented a specific era, the era of lawgiving and wilderness wandering. His death wasn't an interruption of God's plan. It was a necessary part of it. It was the key that unlocked the next chapter, the chapter of conquest and fulfillment. Moses brought the people to the edge of the promise, but it was Joshua who would lead them in. Sometimes, for a new season to begin, the old one must fully and truly end. Moses' death wasn't a tragedy that derailed God's purpose. It was the catalyst that propelled it forward into its glorious fulfillment. This ancient story has a powerful message for us today. What Jordan River are you standing in front of right now? What promise from God feels just out of reach? Maybe there's a Moses in your life, an old season, a past way of doing things, a former identity that needs to come to an end before you can cross over into your promised land. Maybe God is waiting to do a series of rapid, impossible things for you, but it requires stepping into a new chapter of faith. The death of the old season doesn't interrupt God's plan. It is God's plan. Trust that what's on the other side is worth the crossing.
Thanks for watching the Tanakh.
If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that explores the powerful truths of Scripture. See you in the next video.